Good day, Reed here. I'm back with the chickens, and I figured I'd give you a little update. We're having our last big, or what feels like the last big rainstorm of early 2024 before our summer heat kicks in, and it's probably going to be a hot, dry summer. And so a couple different nuances came together. Now, I know in the past I've talked about some water systems I wanted to install here, and this is what's currently happening. So I'll take you around the other side of it. So, in everything but the PVC, it's all reclaimed materials. So this structure here was reclaimed a few years ago, and basically got these two barrels the other day, so you can see the water coming off of faux gutter and going into that tube there. It's coming into this barrel. It's not going to hold the full thing. It's at a mild bit of an angle there, and then it's going to go into here once the water gets up high enough, and then as it comes down, it'll get stuck here for a bit because, again, angles, and then it's going to go into this tube, which is at a more serious angle, so it's not going to get totally full either. And then eventually it will come down to here, fill up this tube that runs along, and I've got my shut off at the far end of it so that I can control what goes into my old rain barrel that has my chicken watering spots on the bottom. In the future I might need to add a couple extra little pieces for them to get watered by, but right now the system's functioning pretty well. I might come and build out some more supports for it later today. But other interesting things to notice is like, I'm on a bit of a slope here. You can see kind of in the distance where the grass is. And as chickens like to scratch, they are getting a bunch of the roots of these trees that are here. And so I'm thinking I might actually come back and plant some other plants right there and just cover them with some other net so the chickens can't actually destroy those plants, and then backfill some of those pockets with some of the loose material that they've scratched up. I've almost got a bathtub, which was going to be like a worm thing going on, but that didn't end up working. Oh, I hear my kid. And so I'm going to be moving that tub out of here shortly. The coop situation is going pretty well. It's almost time to clean out all the manure, but I'm unsatisfied with my chicken feed, which, if you notice the ground here, is completely speckled with it. So my wife wants this organic feed, and I'm just like, there's a whole... So I need to source some other stuff to change that. And as we come outside of the coop, I realized that all my sources of nitrogen putting on these bales was probably too old and didn't function. So they are not going to grow. And even the potatoes that I put under them with a bit of manure on them haven't popped through yet. So I'm curious to see how that goes. Whereas this potato mound, they're really happy right there. This is my sunny spot. By the way, you can see I got a nice little channel that comes through at some point in the day. Whereas over here, the currant plant right there is doing pretty well. A couple kale plants popped up. A tiny currant plant right there. And then in the shadow of the fir tree, nothing basically wants to grow other than the naturalized forest ecology. There's a wisteria that I propagated, and a sorrel plant that my kids really like to eat. And in this area back here, with all these mustard flowers going on, you can see probably some kale in the distance, and I Should really trim back this branch of the arbutus to a little bit more light in the back side of it. But it's mostly growing pretty well. And that used to be where the run for the chickens was. I don't know if you can see the metal that's on the ground, the fencing that's back there. That was the edge. This potato tower could be doing a lot better. You can kind of see the leaves are being eaten by something. But it's shot up a good bit in there, so I should come in and add another layer. I'm doing manure from the chickens that's been rotting. It's mostly in that bathtub at this point. And then other leaves and hay. This is a bucket that I've got a bunch of comfrey in. It was completely full with comfrey when I put it in there, and I'm slowly smashing it down, and it's not quite ripe yet. You'll know when it reeks and stinks. Got a nice bundle of, don't think it's crimson clover, but maybe it is, coming in. And then I really need to string up some string for the peas to climb up those pieces of bamboo that are there. And there's little teeny bits of kale. The kale in the chicken section is actually pretty good. And then you can see here, it is puny as heck. So I got another barrel, my wife's little gardening spot, which is beside our orchards. And I got power there, so I'm going to do some compost tea making. And in our little greenhouse here, I got some extra soil from a job. And so we built a mini raised bed. And we got some cucumbers, some peppers, some ground cherries, a little bit of basil, tomatillo, a melon here. And this is actually looking pretty good. Our temperatures are going to switch this week, later in the week, to be a lot warmer out. And when that happens, things are going to, I think, really start to pop and grow. And here's a look from going back. I gotta reset my fence. And that's some of what's happening in my backyard chicken coop area. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing to the channels. More fun things on the way. Have too much fun.